Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another interview. Today, a very special guest, multi-sport star, Chase Boyle from Rumson-Fair Haven. Chase plays soccer, basketball, and lacrosse, where she'll be going to college to play. Chase, thank you for joining me today.
Of course, I'm excited to be here.
First, what's Rumson doing with COVID right now? Are they hybrid or?
Yeah, so we're on like a hybrid schedule where it's like two different cohorts go. It like rotates from going 2 days a week to 3 days a week, half day schedule. I mean, it's crazy, but it's better than not going to school at all. We're actually online though right now for the rest of the year.
Okay, I think a lot of the schools are doing that right
Yeah.
now. Um, Last year at the end of the year, how did you find the adjustment to going all virtual?
I mean, it was definitely really weird in the beginning, going from being in school every single day of the week to like not even being able to leave your house to like go to the grocery store. But like when it first happened, like what kid doesn't want to like hear that they're not going to be able to go to school for 2 weeks and like be able to be online. So like I was super excited, but then like as it kept dragging on, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected it to drag on as long as it did.
Yeah.
Um, Now switching to sport. Now we'll talk lacrosse and losing out on your junior season later on, but talking of all these sports that you've played, how old were you when you started playing? Soccer, lacrosse, basketball.
Soccer was the first sport I ever played, and I started playing soccer. I would say I joined a team in second grade. Basketball, I played rec like my whole life, so probably like fourth grade is like when I like actually started to play,
Mhm.
and then lacrosse, third grade, fourth grade, same thing.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with lacrosse. I'm assuming they have things similar to what Academy Soccer is and AAU.
Yeah,
Is that what they do?
yeah.
Um, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have an older sister who's 19 and a younger sister who's 15.
Oh, what sports do they play?
Abby is my younger sister and she plays soccer, basketball, and lacrosse like
Okay.
me. And my older sister went to RBC and she played volleyball, lacrosse, and basketball. And she actually plays lacrosse at Jacksonville University in Florida.
Oh, wow. Are you three super competitive with each other?
Yes, I
Who
would say
who
so.
who usually wins?
Mm, Probably me.
You?
Yeah.
I like to hear. Um, Now, your parents, did they play any sports? Well, you said your mom played lacrosse before.
No,
Uh,
my mom
uh,
played volleyball and
but
softball growing up. She lived in Florida and she like didn't know lacrosse was a thing until she was in college. So like very similar towards like I'm sure a lot of other people.
yeah,
She played volleyball at Jacksonville too.
okay,
And then my dad literally played every sport you can imagine
yeah,
throughout his whole life.
that's how it was, back then. He played every sport. It's very rare that, somebody, like yourself excelling in, three different sports. How do you find time balancing all three sports?
I mean, I never really thought of it like as being hard because for like my whole life I've been playing like all three sports. So time management hasn't like really ever been an issue because it's just like what I've been used to like forever. But I like going into high school and playing three sports and then balancing like all my schoolwork and all my classes was definitely a struggle in the beginning, but it helps so much with time management like going forward and I'm definitely a lot better at it now than I was in the
Yeah,
beginning.
especially next year when you go to college, time management is the key.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
when the pandemic first hit, and talking to interviewing the girls back then, players back then, I said it gives advantage with the virtual learning and all that. That's it's going to be an adjustment going to college. So I thought in that sense it could help you girls and boys too, getting an adjustment for school college when you move on.
Yeah, definitely.
What else, what have your parents meant to you, as far as your development and support?
Literally everything. Like they're the ones that like introduced me into like or like made me play all these sports. Like I played softball when I was younger too, like rec softball because my mom there's never like youth volleyball programs around here. So like I never really did any of that and I play soccer so I couldn't play in high school. But my mom and my dad have definitely been like huge influences over me, especially like they just teach me everything. Like my dad was my first ever like lacrosse coach. Like he just teaches me everything I know about like the sports that I play, and my mom is like probably my biggest supporter in like all the different ways.
Uh, talking about your dad being your lacrosse coach. What are some of the teams you played for lacrosse?
So I did the first team I ever played for. I did like Little Silver Rec lacrosse because I used to live in Little Silver. And then once I was old enough, I played in fourth grade. I joined T3 Elite, which is now Jersey Shore Select Lacrosse. But I played for T3 from fifth grade all the way till last summer, which is like as far as you can go. But I also played for Two Rivers Lacrosse, which was like this like tiny club that like my dad coached too. So like me and a bunch of my friends had like always played for that.
Was your dad always your lacrosse coach, or did you have any other coaches?
He was my lacrosse coach for all of Two Rivers, but not for T3 or any of those other days.
Um, Soccer. What teams did you play for soccer?
So I never really played rec soccer, but I went right into travel and I played for Homedale
Okay.
FC. Like I think my team name was the Homedale Shamrocks, and my coach was Chris Lionetti.
Okay.
And I played from like third grade with them from like third to like fifth or sixth grade, I would say, I think, before I switched clubs.
Which club did you switch to?
I went to Middletown Soccer Club for like half of a season, and then I went to Wildcats for like 4 more years, and then I quit.
The Wildcats. I hear a lot about the Wildcats program.
Yeah.
Um, what made you what lacrosse is your sport, obviously, because that's what you're going to play. What made you choose lacrosse as the sport you wanted to focus on, at the next level?
Yeah, I used to like not like lacrosse at all. Like soccer was like definitely like my first love. I like loved the game and everything about it. But as I like got older and started making more friends on like my lacrosse teams and like developed my skills a lot more, I started to enjoy it so much more. And it's just like it's a totally different game, and I feel like it's so competitive, and I don't know, I just like it a lot.
People who are trying to get me into lacrosse for the past spring, obviously it didn't happen, but maybe this spring I'll have to check it out. Um, I used to write for a newspaper. I don't lacrosse didn't even exist when I wrote for the newspaper because it was only softball. I only covered softball and baseball. Um, Going into high school, what were some goals you set for yourself that you wanted to achieve in the sports over the 4 years?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to like be like on all the varsity teams for all 4 years, and I made freshman soccer and then got moved up to JV my freshman year, but then basketball and lacrosse, I've been on varsity for the last 4 years. So that was like definitely something really cool to me because like I always like looked up to all the older girls that were on the teams and like wanted to befriend them.
That leads me to my next question. If you had an issue or question, which upperclassmen were you able to rely on? You can start with lacrosse first.
For lacrosse, probably like Jill Curran was like, I feel like she was like the senior leader of our lacrosse team my freshman year, and she was really nice to me, and she's been friends with my older sister for a while, so like I knew her already, and she was always super nice. So definitely Jill, I would say.
How about for basketball and soccer?
Basketball, Tori Hyduke, for sure.
Yeah.
She like seems like she's such a scary person, but she's so nice. She was so nice to all of us. Like once you get to know her, and pretty much all the upperclassmen when I was there, like Biz Kelly, who was a junior when I was a freshman, like became one of my like closest friends, I would say, on the basketball team, and she goes to Loyola, so that will be fun. And then in soccer, I made freshman and JV my freshman year, but my sophomore year, I looked up to pretty much all the upperclassmen. It was just really cool. I was just excited to be able to be on varsity at that time.
Um, your freshman year now, I did some research. Lacrosse, you beat Manasquan in the Shore Conference tournament and sectional, right?
Yeah.
Now Rumson, if they did I read they haven't lost a lacrosse game? Is that true? Is that
Yeah, we have a short conference game winning streak. I think it's like 122 games maybe where we haven't lost to any short conference teams.
jumping ahead a little bit? But how does the coach keep the team so motivated? I mean, that's like not where you don't look past an opponent.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, playing against the shore conference teams are always the most fun because like that's like the people you know, and like Manasquan especially, like all my friends from my club teams that I'm like so close with, they all play for those teams. So like there's definitely like a huge competitive aspect with that. But Amy just knows how to keep us all focused, and she's a really good coach. And I feel like in this area, like Rumson pulls like a lot of lacrosse players now because it's like I feel like it's one of the main sports for girls in this area. So like that's like definitely a huge factor.
Okay. And you said the coach has been there for a good amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So, and that helps having the stability where you're not rotating
Yeah.
coaches and the longevity there. Now, sophomore year, lacrosse won the short conference title again, right?
Yeah.
Against RBC. Um, Talk about states. Your sophomore year made a run and then lost to Madison. Now, like I said, I don't know anything about lacrosse. I'm assuming Madison's a really good team.
Yeah, so that was actually on our turf too, which like sucks the most, losing a state championship when we're the number one seed on our turf. And we had had such a good season coming off of that. Like, had just won short conference finals. Like, thought we were like such a good team and whatever. And we were a really good team. But we probably played our worst game of the season against Madison, which is bound to happen versus all teams. But like, you never want that to happen in a state championship, like where it's going to end your season. And I guess like we didn't overlook Madison. Like my cousin plays for Madison, and I know that she's like a really good player. So we knew that they had a lot of good talent on their team, but I just don't think we were ready for like what they brought that day.
What was the score that came? Do you remember?
I think we lost by 3 or 4
Okay.
goals, which is like a lot too. And they were winning like the whole game.
Um, Switched to soccer your sophomore year. Did you were moved up to varsity for your sophomore year?
Yeah, I got moved up to varsity sophomore year.
How did the team do that year?
My sophomore year, I think, we ended up getting like a ton of PowerPoints my sophomore year. Because of the teams we played, like we were really good. So we were ranked number one for state my sophomore year. So all of our games were on the turf at home. But I forget who we lost to, but like we came out one day and we just weren't ready to play. And like I guess it probably was like a lower seeded team that like we weren't expecting to like come out as hard as they did, and we lost like on our home field when we were expected to like win the whole thing.
Yeah, that happens. Do you rather play on the turf than regular field?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely turf. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, this we'll talk about this season, the soccer season. You got a lot of fast forwards on the team, which the turf will come advantage.
Yeah.
When took your junior year, you got injured during your soccer season, correct?
Yeah.
What was the injury?
So it was called like the Liz Frank injury, and it was on the top of my right foot. And it's like a lot of people make that same face when they hear that injury. It's like get really bad and become like reoccurring. And it happened to me on our Halloween game. And I was like going to kick this ball, and me and this girl on the other team kicked it at the same exact time. And the ball just like shot up, and then she stepped on my foot,
Mm,
and it hurt so badly, and I had to come off for a little bit. But then it like didn't hurt for like the next like few weeks. Like it hurt like a little bit like after
yeah.
games and practices and stuff. So like my mom and dad didn't really think it was as serious as it was. And then I had a lacrosse practice for T3 one day, and I was running, and I guess I like misstepped, and I felt like the excruciating pain I did like the first time it happened, and I was like, I can't even run. And that was 2 days or 3 days before our state semifinal game. And I played in that anyway, and I like could not run, so I had to sit out for most of it. And then the last 10 minutes, we were losing 3-2 or 2-1. So I got put back in and just had to run through it. But like after that, my mom took me to an MRI to get an MRI and an X-ray, and that's like what I heard is that I have Liz Frank.
Oof. I don't know how you players. You're so tough. Every player, the injuries you play through, crazy. What kind of treatment? You didn't need surgery, did you?
No, I didn't need surgery.
What kind of treatment did you do to heal?
I had to do like stim on my foot a bunch of times, and that like hurt so badly. I also got like a stem cell shot,
Okay.
and then I did physical therapy at Elite Physical Therapy, and that was like a really big help.
The stem cell shot. How was that?
It hurt really badly, But I think it's like more of like a mental aspect. Like if you believe that it's gonna help you, it did, and I believe that it helped me a lot.
Now how did you feel? You end up missing the basketball season. How did that make you feel?
Yeah. Missing basketball, like basketball has never really been my favorite sport, but
Hmm.
like I still like love it like deep down, even when like I don't want to admit it to myself. So like after sitting out for a while, it's so weird seeing like the team together all the time and like all the underclassmen come in and like I barely know any of them now because I like sat out the whole season
Yeah.
and I didn't like want to go to every single practice when I literally wouldn't have been able to play at all, even if they
Yeah.
made it all the way to the state finals, which they did, and I still
Yeah.
couldn't play because I was in a boot for 2 months maybe, and then I had to do 3 months of physical therapy. So it's definitely a lot.
Yeah, and the basketball team, they had a strong freshman class last year.
Yeah,
And that was tough, you being injured and Grace being injured all that,
yeah,
last
Grace
season.
definitely. That's a lot.
I'm sure Coach Callahan's happy, both of you be back
Yeah,
this
I'm
season.
excited.
What were your thoughts, last year with COVID coming and then they decide to pull the plug with spring sports?
That was like probably one of the hardest things I've had to hear, especially since I wasn't able to play basketball
Hmm.
or I wasn't able to play a sport since November. And I was so excited to finally like be able to be back on the field with like everyone and like finally be able to run around because I was so out of shape and I've like never been out of shape in my life. And we did the week of preseason where we run all the time and I was definitely getting like back into shape. And then they canceled the whole season and I was like, that's like such like a horrible thing to like have to go through. I was just really glad I wasn't one of the seniors because I
Yeah.
cannot imagine because most of them basically all of our seniors were committed to play lacrosse in college. So this was like their last season, but it was definitely hard. And it was hard for me too because I'm at 96 goals and all I wanted was to get 100 and we didn't even have one game where I could have like tried to do that.
Yeah, and I feel bad for this basketball season. There's so many players close to 1,000 where a full season they would get it easily, a
Yeah.
1,000 points. And, now with the abbreviated season, it's not, probably not going to happen
Yeah.
for the seniors. Um, Talking your senior year, what were your thoughts during the summer? Did you think the soccer season was going to happen?
In the beginning, like not really, but then once football like started to practice and like soccer and field hockey were able to like have like their preseason workouts, I got like really hopeful. And then I was like, oh yeah, there's no way like we're not gonna have a season.
Now you girls played the first game and then you end up getting shut down for 2 weeks
Yeah.
because of COVID. What was how did the team stay motivated and stay on top of it when you were able to come back and get back on the field?
Yeah, that was crazy getting shut down after our first game, especially for Shore, who we have not beat in like 3 or 4 years. It
Yeah.
could be even longer. And we were like, oh wow, we're gonna be like really good this season. And then we get shut down. And for the next 2 weeks, like we all like are staying in touch, but obviously we can't be with each other, but like texting each other, keeping updates on like getting updates on like all the other teams and like what they're doing and like just motivating us even more because they had like such an advantage over us with the records and stuff. So yeah, definitely motivated.
I mean, your team came out, when you were able to finally get back on the field, your team came out and, it showed that you are one of the top teams, in the state. Um, yeah, I'm just going through my notes. As a senior, what is something you try to teach or, that you want to pass on to the underclassmen?
One of like the biggest things I would say is to like literally never take anything for granted anymore because you never know like one day your season will be like you'll be like so good, you'll be such a good team, like looking forward to the future of like what it will bring. And the next day you could get shut down for like a disease like coming into your school. Like it's the craziest thing, like you would never expect it. Also, like so definitely like never take anything for granted anymore. And I'm sure they all know that by now
Yeah.
because they like all felt so bad for us and like wanted to play as hard as they could because they knew like um literally tomorrow our season could have gotten shut down. So that definitely would be the thing.
Yeah, that's good. Now your team had a great state run, end up defeating Wall in a great game. Unfortunately, I missed I was gonna go, but the Wall AD posted on Twitter you needed a wristband. I was like, I'm not taking a chance of driving there that early in the morning and
Yeah.
not getting in. Um, talk that Wall game and the feeling the team had. After such a one coach said to me, this was the shortest season on paper, but by far the longest season he ever coached. So talk just how it felt ending the season on such a high note, winning the state title against a top team like Wall.
Yeah, that was definitely like that's like the one thing that like I pushed for the most. Like I wanted to take our season as far as we possibly could with it being as short as it was, and like we did that. So that was like definitely like a huge accomplishment for us just being there and like coming like we were definitely the underdogs in that game without a doubt. So we didn't really have anything to lose, but like Wall definitely did because they had this undefeated season and they're like second ranked and we're third. So we came in like really hard. Actually, in the beginning of the game, Wall came out really strong. We were like, oh my God, like they're like a really good team. And we knew they were going to be really good. But then like we started to fire right back at them. And Katie Aglione had like a goal in like the first 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So that was definitely crazy. But like being able to win that with like all the people that I've played, like all my friends on that team, I've played soccer with them like since like I can remember, like Bryn Pritchard and Lily Frick, like I've played soccer with them since 5th or 6th grade. And it's like the craziest feeling being able to like start basically my soccer experience and end it with them.
Yeah, that's a great way to end your soccer career.
Yeah.
Um, what was the final again? Was it 3-2, right? Was it 3-2?
Yeah, 3-2 and double overtime.
Double overtime. Yeah, that's a great game to be
Yeah,
at.
it was such a
I
fun game to
can't
play.
imagine playing, but even as a fan, just being in the stands, that'd be a great game to be at.
Yeah.
Um, we'll talk basketball briefly this season. I the schedule to me is awful. I mean, 10 games. Looks like they're trying to plan some kind of tournament, which would be good.
Yeah.
But Rumson's good team coming back, and I love Coach Callahan. I think he's a great coach. Um, there's high expectations, I would think, for Rumson, especially with you and Grace coming back. What do you think? What the outlook for the Rumson basketball team this season?
I think we have such a strong team this season and like on all levels and like all different places on the court. So I'm super excited because I think this is the year that we could like win it all and like that's what we all want to do. We want to take our season as far as it can go when it's shortened like this.
I saw them play during the summer, and the summer leagues and the fall leagues, and Grace looks unbelievable, right?
She's
Yeah.
crazy good. I love watching her play.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get last season. The only game I got to see her was during short conference tournament against St. Rose. But seeing her on the court during the summer, I was like, wow, she looked like a woman playing against little kids the way she was
Yeah,
dominating. So
seriously.
so the outlook is good for Rumson. How do you like playing for Coach Callahan?
I love Coach Cal. He's such a great coach, like on and off the court, and he's super passionate about the game, and like anyone can see that. And like he treats us like we're his family during the season, and really does take care of us. So like he's definitely like one of my favorite coaches I've had.
Yeah, it's I enjoy talking with him. Um, Now shifting to lacrosse, I know it's months away, but they just came out and said that there's going to be a complete spring season. They're going to do the full slate playoffs, which I think they should. You would have won the spring season, got screwed over last year with nothing. So how does that make you feel knowing that right now it looks like you're gonna have a full lacrosse season?
That's like the best thing. Like one of like the players that would lost their spring season last year, like could hear like coming off of like a short soccer season and a short basketball season. It means so much that like the short conference and everyone who like runs it are trying to like give back to like the spring sports for like what they lost last year.
Yeah, I agree. I see, there's a lot of basketball people complaining about the season, but I said, you're still having a season.
Yeah, it's
Spring
better
did
than
not have
nothing.
spring did not have anything last year.
Yeah,
I mean, they did that little baseball thing, but that was it.
yeah.
There was no lacrosse, no track or field if you run. Before we talk about your future and college, you do quick rapid questions. You go
Okay.
for that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite TV show?
One Tree Hill.
What's your favorite movie?
Miracle.
Yeah, oh, that's a great movie.
I love that movie.
What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. I was figuring you would say that. What's your favorite subject?
U.S. history probably.
Okay. Um, what's your favorite number?
4.
4. Is that your number in all the sports?
Yeah, I used to be 23, but then I came to RFH, and for soccer season, 23 wasn't available, but 4 was. So I put on number 4 and then never changed my number again.
Is that your lacrosse number too?
Yeah, lacrosse and basketball.
Okay, that's good. Uh, and what's your favorite subject? What's your favorite? Oh, U.S. history. You answered that. Okay. Last one. What is something you enjoy to do if you ever find free time other than sports?
Oh my God. Doesn't happen very often, but I love just being with my family. I'm like a huge homebody, so like them, however much time like I can get with them, like I will take it.
That's great. Now talking college, what were some of the factors that made you choose Loyola Maryland?
Loyola has like an unbelievable lacrosse program, and that was definitely like one of the main things that drew me there. But when I went on my visit, the girls on the team were so nice. The campus is beautiful. Academics are great. Like it's Patriot League school, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
But probably the thing that pulled me the most was the coaching staff. The head coach, Jen Adams, she's literally the best women's lacrosse player to like ever like literally walk the earth. She's so cool. And same with Dana Dobby. She's an awesome player. And same with Caroline Hager. So like that was definitely huge for me.
I mean that's great that you have that feeling for the coach you're going to play for. It's going to make the transition easier. Do you know what you want to study?
I applied undecided, and like it's like I feel like it's so hard for like a 17-year-old to decide what they want to do with the rest of their life. So like not really. I have always been into sports clearly. So maybe like sports marketing or advertising or something like that. But I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess just I have to say, kids like your generation are so much smarter than when I was in school. But it's just impressive, the way you balance schoolwork and when I was in school, you either played sports or you were book smart. That was it. There was no both, and now it seems like everybody is you're book smart and you
Yeah.
excel at athletes. Um, last question I'll ask. What advice would you give your younger self?
To literally the most like important thing like you can hear like when you're little is like never give up, because like things are always like the more work you put in is like what it'll actually end up paying off. And like you hear that and you're like you don't ever think anything of it, but like the harder you work, like the more you'll get out of it. And like that's definitely like one of the biggest things like I have lived by throughout like my sports career, and I would definitely tell my younger self that if I could.
That's great advice. Do you try to give your younger sister advice?
If she agrees to listen to me, which she
It
doesn't.
it happens. It happens. Wait, when she gets a little older, she's going to tell you were right. Did you
Okay.
listen to your older sister?
Mm, I feel like a hypocrite like saying that about like my younger sister now. But I guess I do. I listen to my older sister Mackenzie now because like I realize that she
Yeah.
knows a ton more things than I do. But I guess when I was younger, like I didn't want to have to like submit to my older sister and like what she was telling me to do.
Yeah, that's the way it is. And watch it in a year or two, your younger sister's gonna start listening to you and your other sister.
Yeah.
Chase, thank you for joining me. I had fun doing this interview. I wish you luck during basketball season. Hopefully, I could sneak into a couple games.
Of course.
So
I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
no problem. And good luck during lacrosse season. I'll definitely get to a lacrosse game this season
I hope so.
to see if I like it. So yeah, I got softball coaches and lacrosse coaches asking me what sport I do in the spring, and they get disappointed when I say neither. But I'll have to see if I can get into one. I can't see me doing softball. You don't know how long the game's gonna be.
Yeah, seriously. Lacrosse is fun. It's quick, fast paced, and
All right, I
definitely
like that.
competitive.
So it's that that's why. Well, soccer I used to coach, so that's why I'm into soccer, and I used to play
Yeah.
basketball. So all right, Chase, thank you for joining me.
Yes.
And enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
No problem.